everyone, welcome back to day 12 of the 13 Frights before Halloween. I'm excited. Today we're going to be making the closure for our album, and tomorrow we'll do the decorating of the cover to finish everything up. Today I had a few more decorating I wanted to show you here on this one, but this page here I want to make sure and show you what I'm doing so that you understand, and then I'll just do a showcase walkthrough of what the rest of the stuff that I did on the inside. But first on this one, I'm going to put these little what I call pop-out photo mats that I'm going to tie them with the string, and on each one I'm going to have a cut apart. So I took these from scraps, and they're 3 1/4 wide or tall by 12, and I scored it 4 and 8. But then on the piece that folds inside so that it doesn't hang or buckle up on me, I trimmed off like a 1/16 of an inch on each one. So these are all the same, and then I'm going to leave them plain on the inside so you can add photos. So I have these ready, already done, or scored and folded, and I am going to do the corners with the, I think I'll do the stub on the cardstock. So this will punch your Crop-A-Doll, if you have that, will punch all the way through. And I'm doing all 4 corners because I want that look, okay? So got all 4 corners stubbed, punched. Okay. Take out my trash real quick into my little trash bag here, and then oh yeah, these I'm going to do the deco on these. The corners of my deco's not wanting to work sometimes. 3 by 4 cards from the collection. So I have the little pixie fairies with the pumpkins, and then this fairy with the bats and the moon. So I don't know why it's not wanting to punch. Well, there it goes. That's better. Okay. So these are going to glue on the front here, just like that. So I have more margin on the sides, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to grab my glue. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on the back of each, and then make sure that it's folded. So you're going to be gluing the center, the back of the center one. Let me check my fold. That's the one that goes to the inside, right here and here. So if you're wanting it open at the top, then make sure your fold's at the top. So I'm going to line this up. Just like that. And I'm going to be adding string to these before I glue them onto the page. So let's burnish that. And we'll do the other one the same way. So this one closes in, and then we're going to glue the fold there. Okay. Sorry I couldn't get to this yesterday because the video is getting really long. So I just left everything sitting and worked on the inside pages, and then decided I would do this and thought, well, I'll just wait and share this tomorrow so you understand how to do it. Okay, so now we need our string, and I think I'm going to use black. Try to roll off some, grab my scissors, the missing scissors always. Let me double this. So it's about maybe 1.5 yards each. I know that seems like a lot, but I always rather have more than I need than not enough. That's why I buy a lot of times my string and ribbon by the roll versus by the yard, so I don't have to worry about whether I'm going to run out or not. And I realize not everybody can do that, so that's, you know, as a designer, I do use a lot, so I like to make sure that I have plenty. So if I double this, I'm going to see tie it on the end. Sometimes I like the string doubled so that I have a thicker looking bow. I'm going to tie this where the loop is. Tie it on the end as pretty close as I can, and then I will just snip that loop off. Yeah, I could have done 2 pieces of string, but I did it this way. Now I'm going to see, do I have enough to tie? Before I attach anything down. Yes, I think that'll work. So I went ahead and tied it on, and then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put some tape. When I get done with this project, I've got to clean up my tools and everything. It's quite a mess here. I'm just going to put tape over it, okay? And then that one's going to be ready to glue up here, or vice versa. So this one, let's do the same thing. Got the same amount of string. Pull these together and tie a knot on the end where it's the 2 ends come together. And then pull it straight, and where the loop is, I'm going to tie that in a knot and then trim the loop off. And that gives me the double string. Okay, right here. And sometimes in my videos you may hear crows in the background, and that's because it's fall and we have a lot of pecan trees. And they get real excited in the fall, and they all seem to show up. They're here in the summer, but I just don't hear them as much as I do in the fall. I think they call to others that, hey, this pecan tree's got pecans. And then they're real bad about pulling the pecans off the tree before they're even ready and pecking into them and then throwing them on the ground because they're not ready to eat. And so then that wastes it. So that's why you hear some people say they have scarecrows and fake owls in their trees. We don't do that, but they're a little annoying. But they're the sound of fall and Halloween to me, so I kind of like hearing them. Okay, so I tie this around the second one, like a little package. Here we go. And then we tape that backing, or tape the string down rather, like that. And that one's going to go there. So you will still have places for photo, you know, here and here, and then in the photos in the little booklets. And these are flat, and they're not taking up, I checked, they're not going to take up a lot of space in the section here. So I'll put my glue on. And just line it up, position it where I want them. About 1 inch from the side and 1 inch from the bottom. And burnish that on. And then this one. Okay, and the same, about 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the side-ish. Kind of make them, there we go. Like that. So let these dry for a little bit, make sure they're on good, and then I will show you what I've done for the rest of the book before we get started on our closure piece. So here's this page done, and this second 1 inch section here. And then when you flip it back, we've got a pocket like we did on the other side, so you make it just the same way with a booklet for photos. So that just slides in there. I use the same width, 2 inch width of paper here to make it kind of match. Then of course these flaps, I don't have anything on them. You can put photo mats or photos. Here I made for the 4x6 photo, the 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and a 4x5 mat here. And I did use the same orange string. They're the same, but different, okay? Different elements here. Kind of went with the pumpkin theme. You flip this, then I have this photo mat, same size as on the other section over there, and then I use different tuck spots for that. So that's the inside of the album. Of course, on the Halloween day, I'll go through the whole thing so we can see it all together. I'm just going to close this up, and we're going to get ready now to make our closure piece. To make our closure, we need 2 pieces of cardstock that are 2.5 by 12. And then we need 4 pieces. And I want 2 alike and 2 different patterns. So 2 and 2. So 4 pieces that are 2 3/8 by 12. And the 12-inch end length we may have to trim. But to start off, that's what we're going to need for that. You need 2 magnet sets. I have 2 laid out here. Again, I'm still out of the basic gray. I'll be ordering soon for that. 2 brads. I'm using 2 black brads, and then I picked this chipboard piece, and instead of using a brad on it, I'm going to use these 2 round, I think, spider pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on so I don't lose those right quick. So I'll just put some glue here. Oops, glue's coming out good today. Maybe the weather changed. I don't know. Who knows? So pop those on right there, and I'm going to let that dry. So that's a decorative piece on the closure. So I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. So I've set it away. I'm having to think about how I made this before. I do know that on the ends of each piece, I'm going to stub punch. I'm going to stub punch one end of each of the cardstock pieces, like that. And then I'm going to deco punch one end. Let's see, I need that. I'm going to go ahead and do that. One end of each. So I've just got them doubled up. Deco punch one end of each of the patterned papers. Just one end is all we should need on that, so it matches up the cardstock. Okay, there we go. Deco punched. Put the trash bits in my trash can and put the tool so it's out of my way. Now then, let's join. I'm going to move the book for right now. Just set it aside here. We're going to join our piece together with glue, and this would be on the end that does not have the punch. And about 1/2 inch is what I'm thinking. I'm going to overlap it, and I'm going to burnish that, and I'm going to let these dry. Make sure they're lined up. Burnish. Get my tool here, and then also wipe off any excess glue. Just clean that out right there, and turn it over and burnish. Clean that out, and let this dry really good. Okay, so let this dry. Don't want it coming apart, so I'm just going to give it a few minutes to dry, and then we'll be back to finish working on it. I am going to use the stripe on the finished side, the top side of my closure piece. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these. Just need to find my ink. There it is. I'm going to ink, and then I'm going to glue these on. And then I also secure them with the 2 brads. You do need 2 brads, and like I said, 2 magnet sets. And if you're using the basic gray, use 2 large basic gray sets for this, because you want it to be able to hold. Now it's possible one end of these I didn't need to punch, but I did just anyway with the deco punch to be safe. Just once this all starts going together. So I'm going to ink these. These are going to be the underside. And you do see these when you open back just on. So it's probably a waste of paper to put it on the whole piece. but I'm going to do it anyway because it just adds extra strength to it. So I really probably don't need to be concerned about inking that, but I did. So anyway, if you're short on paper, you don't have to cover the underside except for the part that's going to show if you're running low on paper. So just bear that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and match this up here and apply my glue. And I'm real excited. Tomorrow is the 13th day. And then it will be Halloween. And I've shared earlier on my YouTube channel that in November, I'll be starting a remake of another one of my projects that I did using Rare Oddities. It's a book box. So that's going to be in November. I'm probably pretty sure after the hop. I won't even start it till after the hop. And it'll either be a short series or several different videos. I don't think I'll do it all in one long session. Okay, so this we put on also, and it's okay if it overlaps because remember we joined that together. So we're just gonna put these on. Some lining up here on the other end. Gonna match them up best you can. Go ahead and burnish that down. Now then, for these joined together, I'm going to go ahead and pattern my underside, I call that. So I'm going to use this black check on my underside. And again, if you're running short of paper, just cover I'd say about 3 inches maybe of the underside on one end where it will be visible when you open up your closure piece. So like, about 4 inches. If you're running short of paper, you don't have to put paper the whole length here like I'm doing. So just burnish that down. But if you have the paper and you can, it does make a real sturdy closure band. But you don't have to use the same paper. You could use some different scraps, as long as it's 12 inches long, except for what you want to be visible. So I hope that makes sense. So like if I had a green piece of patterned paper and I wanted to put it on most of it except for the last 4 inches, and I could just use a 4-inch piece of this. But you just got to make sure it's wide enough so that it's not going to have a seam either. You don't want it to have a seam where it's bending back. So we line this up. Okay. Burnish that down. Now, we're going to put this together. We're going to use 2 brads to put this together, and I've got a place here where I don't like uneven. Right there, just trim it off. Okay, so where we joined it together, I'm going to put 2 brads just to secure it. So I'm going to take my smaller hole punch, and I'm just going to reach in about the same spot. I punched about 3/8 of an inch in. So I'm going to line this one up the same line of the stripe. Okay, then I'm going to put my brads in, and I know that I could have patterned the paper, but it's not going to show because it's going to be attached down. That's why I'm saying if you don't have enough patterned paper to do the whole underside, you don't have to, because it's not going to show. There we go. Open that. So that just kind of gives it a finished look where it's seamed together. And I like that really well. Now let's grab our book And let's see where I'm going to put this before I attach it down. It's going to be permanently attached to the back. So this is going to be shorter on this side. This is where it's going to come around. So I'm thinking you want to make sure your paper that shows, oh, is it good? What is that? 6 inches or more. So you might want to do at least 12 inches on one of these ends, because see how that's going to, and I need to decide how far over I want it. So about, I'm going to do about, and I'm just letting it naturally fold itself. I'm going to do about a 2 inch. Yeah, 2 inches here. Okay, 2 inches right there. Get that fold. And then this is going to come on around, and it's just going to attach down. So I'm going to curve that over it. That extra paper helps it to keep from cracking and bending though, so I like that. Let me grab a pencil here. So I'm going to kind of center it. I'm going to take a good look at it, make sure it's straight across from each other and centered. This, I'm going to put a line right here. I am going to put score tape here and then across the back as well. So this is from the top, from the edge of my book, 4 1/4 down. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to measure 4 1/4 inches down, 4 1/4 inches down. I'll make me a line. This is with the top edge of my closure piece, and the whole thing is going to be attached down, and it is 2 inches. Someone put me a mark a little less than 2. I put 1 3/4 because I don't want my tape going all the way over. So I just want a place to where I can see right there, because I don't want my tape showing. Okay, so there's that. So now I'm going to take my score tape. You can use any width you want. I do have a 1 inch wide, and I'm going to use that. Now I'm not going to put it on, make sure you're not putting it over this double spine, but I am not going to put it over the 2 1/2 inch spine either, because I don't want it cracking or anything. So let me grab my scissors that I like to use for score tape and just cut it right there on the edge. And then I'm just going to put it right here. And it overlapped a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. Burnish that down. You can pull those tape backs off, okay? I'm going to flip it back over. And the tape is going to go here. So I am going to put tape from where I've folded here out to this edge right here. So see, I didn't need to punch those ends, but that's okay. I still like having this extra paper though. I still think it's a good idea to pattern it, but it can be any kind of patterned paper. And I'll just cut this here. I'm going to burnish that down. So let's put this one on first. This is the front side. We've got our 2 opening spines here. I'm going to take the tape backing off here. And I'm going to line this up to that line right there. And we're going to have decorative stuff over this, so you won't see much of this piece here. So see, it comes around the spine, and I'm not attaching it down. I'm going to flip this over, and I am going to attach it here on the back. So pull the backings off. Make sure it's lined up. Nice. Flat and straight. Let's burnish that on. And then we bring this around. See, that doesn't attach down. We bring this around, and I know there's a gap there, but I have something that's going to go there. So my magnets, I should have put before this pattern paper, so I'm going to have to cover that with some pattern paper. So I did goof that up. So I'm going to put some glue on the back of my magnets because they're not sticky like the basic gray. And I'm just going to slide them. I've put the glue too close. I'm going to scoot them over. I need to separate the bag. Separate my magnets off. Take that glue off. They scoot it over about 3/4 from the top and an inch over from the end. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to put one on the other side. So I apologize for that. We should not have put that paper on, but I like it going under without being, you know, cut. So I may just put a decorative paper piece here on the inside. So I'm going to take some tape. I'm going to cover these up right here. And make check the magnetism on mine. If you're using the basic gray ones, you just peel off. So I'm putting tape on it so I can attach it down. So I've matched them up there. So I'll put the tape so that the sticky side's up, away from the direction that the magnet attaches down. So when I do this, my sticky tape is here. Now I line up my album, and I bring this around, and let's attach them down. Straight as possible. Basic gray ones are much easier to use. Okay, there we go. So they should be where they belong. I should have put glue on them and I forgot. I'm going to burnish that down. And there will be a piece that goes over this. One of my decorative pieces will cover those. Burnish this down. I'm just cutting the edge of this tape where it sticks out over my edge of my cover. I don't like that, so I'm going to shorten it up a little bit right there. Make sure it's on the pattern paper, not the edge of my album. So that's the magnets there, and that's our closure piece. Next, I'm going to see what I'm going to use to cover the magnets here on the back. Okay. To fix this where the magnets are, to cover those up, I cut another piece that's 3 inches long, 2 3/8 wide, and deco punch the corner, and I'm just going to line that over it. I decided I wanted to use the same paper, the black check. So I'm just putting it on to securely cover up those magnets. And I'm still happy that it doesn't cut off here because I don't want it not covering well, them being a line there. So I'm just going to fit this over it right here, line it up. With it being this check, you really can't see that it's joined here. So it's joined here instead of here where it would be vital at the end of the album. So just burnish around all your areas. I'm looking for my other bone folder. There it is. especially around the magnets. You want that burnished really good. And then this curves over and attaches. Then I take my chipboard piece that I made, and it's going to go right there, and I need to sand that off. Find an emery board or something. Here we go. Right there, that chipboard tag. That. And I think I might ink a little bit on the edges of the chipboard. Around the edges a little bit. And then I'm going to glue that right on top of this closure piece. And that's going to be it for today, for day 12. Tomorrow we will decorate this whole thing. There'll be some fussy cutting going on. I've already planned some of it, so I knew where to place things. You're going to have to work with what you've made. Remember, we made our slider piece, so this is going to go here as well. So that's going to be part of it for our decorating tomorrow. So I don't think I'm going to do a bonus project today because I have a lot of things to do, and I'm sure you're probably super busy too with Halloween so close. So we're just going to end the today 12 here with this. Let this dry on there really good. I really love how that looks. It's really pretty. And this will all come together. And I know there's a gap there, but that's okay because this is going to be covered up. You know, you can do smaller elements if you wanted to, but mine will probably be the whole thing. And I may use some of those graphic 45 roses. I don't know yet. So, so today's day 12. Tomorrow is our 13th day of our Frights before Halloween. We're almost to Halloween, and we almost have our large folio Halloween album made. I'm kind of excited about that. So check back tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye.